Dear students, in this episode, we are going to discuss about fertilization and implantation, human reproduction, part 7. Already you know what is fertilization. Fusion of a haploid sperm with a haploid ovum to form a diploid zygote is called fertilization. Fertilization helps to restore the diploid number of chromosomes of the species and also stimulates the ovum to complete its maturation. At the time of sexual contact, millions of sperms, that is about 200 to 300 million sperms containing semen, is deposited into the vagina of the female reproductive tract. This deposition of semen is called as insemination. Now, the lashing movement of the tail and the contraction of the muscles of the uterus helps the sperms in the vagina to reach the ovum in the fallopian tube. But not all the sperms reach the ovum due to barriers such as thickening of the endometrium, acidic pH, and the phagocytic leukocytes of the female reproductive system, so that out of millions, only thousands of sperms will reach the fallopian tube. The various events occur during fertilization are capacitation, sperm zona pellucida binding, the acrosomal reaction, sperm oocyte binding, egg activation and cortical reaction, fusion of pronuclei. Now we are going to see this in detail. As the newly ejaculated sperms are not functionally matured, they cannot fertilize the oocyte. Hence, they undergo a series of biochemical changes together called as capacitation. By doing this, sperms will become functionally mature and achieve the capacity to fertilize the oocyte. Otherwise, it cannot penetrate the thick corona radiata of the ovum. This process occurs in the uterus and the fallopian tube, and the completion of this process takes about 7 hours after insemination. During this process, the glycoproteins are removed from the plasma membrane of the acrosome, and there is rearrangement of lipids and protein in the acrosomal cap, and there is an influx of calcium from the extracellular fluid, that is from the fallopian tube. All these changes makes the sperms more active. These activated sperms are called as capacited sperms. The capacited sperms also show changes in its motility pattern of the tail called as sperm hyperactivity. That is, sperms can swim more faster than before. During capacitation, only biochemical changes occur in the sperm. You cannot see any morphological changes in the sperm. Only after completion of capacitation, sperms can move to the next event called acrosomal reaction. When the sperms comes in contact with the ovum in the fallopian tube, they produces an acid protein called antifertilizin. At the same time, ovum produces a glycoprotein called fertilizin. The attraction between fertilizin and antifertilizin makes the sperms to stick to the surface of the ovum. This chemical reaction is similar to antigen-antibody reaction, and it is called as agglutination. This reaction is species specific. That means the antifertilizin of one species will not bind with the fertilizin of the another species. Thus, this reaction helps to prevent interbreeding between species. Then, the sperms bind with the zona pellucida of the ovum. If it takes zona pellucida, it consists of sperm binding glycoprotein called ZP3. It is otherwise called as sperm receptors. Only after binding with ZP3 or sperm receptor, sperms can undergo the next event, the acrosomal reaction. During acrosomal reaction, the capacitated sperms releases various chemicals together called as sperm lysins. Important sperm lysin is the hyaluronidase. The follicular cells are held together by an adhesive cementing substance called hyaluronic acid. These are dissolved by the release of proteolytic enzyme called hyaluronidase. This reaction is called as acrosomal reaction. The major factors essential for the acrosomal reaction are optimum pH, temperature, calcium and magnesium concentration. Of these, calcium ions plays an important role in acrosomal reaction because in the absence of calcium ions, fertilization will not take place. Even though hundreds of sperms undergo acrosomal reaction to disintegrate Corona radiata and Sona pellucida, finally only one sperm penetrates Sona pellucida and fuses with the plasma membrane of the oocyte. During this process, the sperm glycoprotein called fertilin binds with the plasma membrane of the oocyte. When the sperm binds with the plasma membrane of the ovum, the endoplasmic reticulum of the ovum releases calcium ions into the cytoplasm. This increase in calcium ions increases cellular metabolism and protein synthesis of the ovum. Now, the ovum is said to be activated. Increase in calcium ions also initiate cortical reaction. The cortical granules found under the plasma membrane of the oocyte fuses with the plasma membrane and releases cortical enzymes and polysaccharides into the perivitelline space. Now, the vitelline membrane hardens to form the fertilization membrane that prevent the entry of more sperms into the oocyte, called as polyspermy. After the fusion of sperm, the secondary oocyte completes its second meiotic division. This division results in the formation of two cells. Of these two cells, the cell containing more amount of cytoplasm develops into a haploid ovum, and the cell containing less amount of cytoplasm develops into a second polar body. The second polar body also degenerates. Now, the nucleus of the sperm called male pronucleus detaches from the head and fuses with the female pronucleus. It is followed by the degeneration of tail and nuclear membrane, and the fusion of chromosomes called karyogamy takes place. Now the ovum is said to be fertilized and it is called as diploid zygote. Once fertilization is over, post-fertilization events starts in the zygote, namely cleavage, morula formation, blastocyst formation, implantation of the blastocyst, gastrula formation, etc. In this class, we are going to see up to implantation of the blastocyst. Cleavage means division. It begins after 24 hours of fertilization in the fallopian tube. As cleavage occurs by mitotic cell division, it converts the single cell zygote into a multicellular blastocyst. Here, first cleavage results in the formation of two unucal cells called blastomeres. Cleavage divides the zygote into 4, 8, 16, 32 and so on. After 72 hours of fertilization, cleavage produces a berry-shaped cluster of 16 or more cells without cavity called morula. It consists of an outer layer of flattened smaller cells called micromeres and an inner layer of larger cells called macromeres. Till morula stage, there is an increase in the number of cells, but there is no change in the size of the embryo. Now, under the influence of progesterone, the smooth muscles of the fallopian tube relaxes and the morula starts to move from the fallopian tube and reaches the uterus about the 5th day of fertilization. On reaching the uterus, morula develops a fluid-filled cavity called blastocele and transforms into blastocyst. At this stage, it consists of about 100 cells. Due to this cavity, the embryo enlarges in size and pushes the macromeres to one side and forms the inner cell mass. Now, the blastocyst consists of a single layer of flattened cells called trophoblast and a small cluster of 20 to 30 rounded cells called inner cell mass or embryoblast. These inner cell mass later give rise to the 3 germ layers of the embryo, namely ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, from which the various tissues and organs develop. And the trophoblast give rise to placenta that connects the embryo and the uterus of the mother. Now the zona pellucida degenerates and the blastocyst catches out and attaches the endometrium of the uterus. Attachment of blastocyst to the wall of the uterus is called implantation. It occurs about 7th day of fertilization. Now the endometrial lining starts to grow and cover the entire blastocyst, and this type of implantation is called as interstitial implantation. If there is any defect in the fallopian tube, it affects the transport of fertilized ovum and increases the chance for tubal pregnancy called ectopic pregnancy. About 95% of ectopic pregnancy occurs in the fallopian tube. The growth of the embryo in the fallopian tube causes internal bleeding, infection, even the death of the mother due to the rupture of the fallopian tube. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is a syndrome that means group of symptoms that affects the ovaries and ovulation in females in their reproductive years. The symptoms appears due to the imbalance of hormonal levels. The word polycystic means many cysts. In polycystic ovarian syndrome, many small fluid-filled sacs called cysts grow inside the ovaries. These sacs are actually follicles, each containing an immature egg, but they never mature and stimulate ovulation. Thus, it makes fertilization impossible in female. Women with polycystic ovarian syndrome produces higher amount of male hormones. This in turn disrupts the menstrual cycle so that the women with polycystic ovarian syndrome get irregular periods. It also causes excessive hair growth on the face and body called hirsutism, weight gain, acne on the face, loss of hair and baldness, endometrial cancer, depression, etc. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is usually treated with medications such as hormonal treatments, cancer preventive medicines, anti-androgen medicines, diabetic medicines, and changing the lifestyle such as intake of healthy food, doing exercises, etc. In this segment, we have learnt what is fertilization and the various events occur during fertilization, what is implantation, what is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and the various symptoms and treatments of polycystic ovarian syndrome. Meet you in the next class with a new topic.